brother. Here we are again. Back here for the delayed Gingy and Big Foxy and NRRRL wrap.
Delayed.
The Friday night, we're going to call it the
Special
D-Wrap.
edition.
It's the D-Wrap.
The D-Wrap special
The
edition.
D-Wrap special edition. The NRRRL wrap on a Friday night of all nights. And it's absolutely freezing.
Cold.
Rainy. Well, drizzly. Sleetish.
You just don't like saying that in case it's a washout.
No, mate, we're well beyond that. I've just heard the weather prediction for the next 3 months, and mate, nothing but dry weather. Nothing but dry weather. But can you stop cutting me off?
Oh, sorry.
Cut me off if you want, mate.
No, go weather, man.
Nothing but dry weather, but very cold, ladies and gentlemen, and the viewing audience out there. But look, mate, Friday night, it's like playing Friday night footy, but we're Friday night rapping.
Friday night rapping.
So we've got a lot to cover tonight. And,
sorry to everyone that tried to tune in on
yeah,
Wednesday
sorry
night.
about that Wednesday. We've just had a chat.
It's actually my fault.
We've just had a chat though with the Golf Meister. We're gonna, if there is a delay live podcast, we're gonna start to put that back out there now, and we're gonna try and get those messages out as quick as possible. We're gonna have our Facebook site set up tonight.
Yeah.
So our viewing audience can hit us up on our Facey as well. The Gingy and Foxy and NRRRL Wrap Facebook site.
Yep.
That'll be up and running again as of by 12 o'clock tonight or sometime. I'm not a person that knows anything about that, but we are getting it set up tonight.
You said you're having it done 2 weeks ago, but anyway.
And on top of that, mate, we've got a lot to cover tonight. We've got the last round, the last week's round of competition. We've got all the catch-up games from the week that's gone, which, to be honest, there was a hell of a lot of football being played over the last week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then we want to get into this week's rounds, what's going on in and about the NRRRL round. We want to have a brief look at what's happening in NRL land, and I'm going to say all good on the Dolphinies last night, beating the top of the table Sharkies. So pretty happy about that, I must say. Sat up and watched it and screamed the house down. Even though I was in the house by myself, I still screamed it down. And then we want to sort of get back in and have a look at where we're going with the Origin, and we'll finish off with that. And then maybe some shout-outs at the end, because I don't know, you're keeping track of the shout-outs, and I think
I've been leaving it waiting for you to get the
I've got a
Facebook
few
page
good
done,
shout-outs
so.
tonight. I've got a few shout-outs that I think are valued shout-outs, by the way.
Okay.
Special mentions, I should say, rather than
Special
shout-outs.
mentions.
We've got some of those on tonight. I'm also, tonight, donning a new sponsor for myself personally, and my new workplace of choice of work. And I'll make that announcement tonight as well, which I think is good for the competition. Me being a local person that's wearing the mighty platinum colours and outfit, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as well. So we've got a lot to cover. So, mate, before we go, anything else from you before we get into this session tonight?
No, I'm ready and raring to go.
You're ready and raring to go, which is...
We've got all these new technical things happening.
Mate,
we've got openers.
I'll tell you what.
We've got segments. We've got...
Mate,
look, Coffee's even got us our own clipboards and our notepads.
Oh, mate, we actually have gone to next level.
Mate, we're worldwide. We're world scale.
Oh, did you just mention that again?
Yeah.
We are what? Wide?
We're worldwide.
Worldwide.
But mate, we've really stepped up now, haven't we?
Well, we know we're being viewed in New Zealand. We know we're being viewed in England. Mate, I reckon there were people over in Las Vegas at the start of the season going, you know who we need here next year?
Get them
They're
over.
Gingy and Foxy doing a podcast at the Las Vegas game next year. How good's that? Goffy, we up for that? So we're going to be looking for sponsors. If anyone out there is willing to sponsor us, we're going to do it for a reason too. Like, we'll make it worthwhile. We'll get it for a good cause. We'll actually, raise a bucket load of money for a very worthwhile cause, and we'll think about that and we'll have a bit of a chat about that. And we're going to take the podcast to Vegas next year.
Vegas.
How good's
Here
that?
we come, Vegas, baby.
Well, I know. Well, put it this way. I know there are two other people that would probably like to come with us, but we might just do the first trip by ourselves. And if it goes really well, yes, ladies, you can come the following year. So, so there we go, guys. Look, but let's get into it, Leslie, and we'll jump straight into our first segment of the night.
Goff,
We've got
get us into it around the grounds.
around The grounds.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Here it comes. This is the new segment, and this is how it all pans out. He doesn't even know how to press a button.
Here it comes.
Here we go. The Tuies around the ground.
So, it's supposed to be quiet.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There we
this
go.
is all new to me.
There it is. It's around the grounds.
Around the grounds. There we go, mate. Over to you.
Mate,
this is all your
get into
segment.
it.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. All right, our catch-up games. And our first game we're going to go and look at, mate, was the Ballina v Kyogle game. Did you have a chance to look at that one?
I did, mate. I had a really good look at that one, and I'm just going to make an interesting statement. The final score of this game was 48 to 8. Half time was 42.
42.
Zip. One try scored by Ballina in the second half. And I've got my thinking about this game, and I watched that second half, and I don't know what the message was from Barnesy at half time, but it sounded, I think, personally, that Barnesy and his coaching and the Ballina club, I think they had a look at this game and thought, you know what, 42 zip half time, flags up at 16, you know that one. So I reckon they're going for some miles in the legs.
Going for the match fitness.
Yeah, mate, I really think they have. Look, it was an interesting game. Ballina dominated. Obviously,
to be
with the
fair,
scoreline.
they're going to be playing 3 games in a matter of 10 days or something, isn't it?
I'll tell you what's interesting about this. The week before, as you know, we played them.
Damien Silver.
We played for them the week before, so they had a couple of interesting, big interesting ends. Front rowers, Damien Sirenen, and I don't know which. I'm pretty sure I think it's Jackson Clark. We all know Jackson from a Ballina Junior.
Yep.
And his brother Dane. So I know they've got a big in that space, and I've seen him play again. And we'll talk about another washout game from Ballina where he played on the weekend during the week against Evans Head. But yeah, mate, look, they got a couple of massive back ends, and I know Barnesy's probably smiling like a Cheshire cat because he's probably going, hang on. 3 weeks ago they read us off, and within the space of 2 weeks, or that game against Northern, the bounce back has been 48-8 and 38-18.
And they've still got a couple of key players to come back still, though.
Yeah.
So they're looking pretty good.
What about this? They played on the Thursday night against Kyogle, and then backed it up the following on a Tuesday night against Evans Head Bombers. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
And then have to back it up again this week.
But I'm just going to be probably look, and this isn't no blight on Kyogle, but mate, to be totally honest, Kyogle having one long year.
Yeah, good win there to Ballina. So 48-8 that score was. We'll move into our next catch-up game, which was Mullumbimby versus Evans Head.
16-12.
16-12. Evans Head, another team that's had to play a few games in the last few days.
Under lights
in Mullumbimby. Close game, 16-12.
It was a very close game, very forward orientated game. And I know people probably hate me saying this.
I like that young fellow in the centres. Torben. I don't know.
Yeah, anyway.
His last name. He's good.
But, mate, he is good. And I'm just going to say it was a game that didn't reach any great heights. It was very... Look, the energy levels weren't the greatest.
And Kyle Kennedy, does he come back this year? Or is he gone for the year?
Mate, they're talking about end of the season if they get to finals. And they had do you know who did play in this game? Martin Kennedy.
He played in this game for Evans Head.
You want to know what happened? Out for the season.
What did he do?
Bicep torn. So the same injury as Kyle Kennedy. So, you know, Evans Head now have Kyle Kennedy, Martin Kennedy, and Lockie Kennedy. I think it's Lockie. Is it Lockie or what's the other one? Aiden Kennedy. All pretty much out with season-ending injuries. Now that's a big loss. And, you know, I'm just going to say this too. They've been so good for so long.
I haven't noticed Sheila either.
I think he could have been out injured as well. But they've been so good for so long, Evans Head, and they've been up in the top end of the competition for such a long time. But as you know, sometimes you can go into it. I just think at the moment they're looking a bit tight. And in that being said, I just think, it's going to be interesting. They've had a couple of games now back-to-back, and then they've got to go into this weekend's game as well.
Roy Bell, he's still crafty there too. So
he is, mate, he is.
We'll see what happens there. So 16-12, Evans got the win there against Mullumbimby. We'll move on to our next game, and it was the Coogin Hornets up against the Dirrawongs, and the Coogin Hornets come away with a surprising 46-4 victory.
Mate, and I am going to say they absolutely, half-time didn't indicate the end of the game. Half-time, I think it was 10-4. And obviously, Coogin, mate, credit to Coogin, they outclassed, outpowered, and out-muscled, and out-enthused. I'm not going to make any excuses here. Yes, we did have some very important outs in this game, but that's not an excuse. I still think they had to win. But look, at the end of the day, credit goes to where credit due, and credit's due to, Coogin, they're last year's premiers. They've turned up, ready to roll. They had an interesting in at 6 in Caleb Zeeble. I think he's the biggest 6 in the whole history of the entire country rugby league. I don't think there's a bigger 6. 6'6", 6'7", 130 odd kilos of pure strength, speed, and skill.
Mate, he was a handful, and I think he caused Northern a lot.
Yeah, mate. I mean, as I said, our game didn't race. Our game didn't race any great heights, and I think
even his kicking game
was pretty good. Mate, he threw a ball at one point, 25-metre pass, hit a wing on the chest. They got called back for a forward pass, but I'll tell you what, there wasn't much in it. But mate,
their forward pack stood up well too.
Yeah, mate, they were good. I think we were confident. I think we were a bit too cocky. But on the back of a good win against Ballina the week before. And mate, I'm just going to say it. We got taught a lesson by a very good team, and I think no doubt the coaching staff had done their homework on Northern. The players had obviously taken note of how we were playing, and they counted our game. And mate, they got away with a very, very convincing win. I think in this game was the game that they stood up in the competition again and said, "Here we are. We haven't gone away." And they're just one of the danger teams in the competition, mate. So credit goes to credit, where credit is due. But mate, I'm just going to make one comment. During the game and after the game, there was a lady that was running water for Coogin, and it was actually Caleb Zeeble's mum. Absolutely beautiful lady, and she gave us, as the podcasters, the biggest rap ever. And I want to say thank you to Mrs. Zeeble for your comments. I think it's very much appreciated, and thank you for everything you did even after the game too. She packed down the grounds. She helped us all pack away at the end of the night. She was one of the last ones to leave with me, and mate, she's a wonderful lady, and I think credit to her and credit to her son.
You go to the Coogin games, and she's everywhere there.
Yeah, mate. So. She's if we only had more Mrs. Zeebles, mate, every club would be a lot better off. So, thank you very much, Mrs. Zeeble, and we hope to see you again during the season.
Yeah, and congratulations to the Coogin team on their win. Beautiful win, all right, mate. And we're going to move into our last catch-up game that was played on Thursday night between the Ballina Seagulls and the Evans Head Bombers. Ballina Seagulls come away with a 38-18 win over the Evans Head Bombers.
Mate, I can tell you something about this game. It was fiery.
It looked freezing cold too.
Well, no, mate, it might have been freezing cold, but it was pretty hot on the field.
Yeah.
Mate, I think there was a lot of contentiousness in the game. The game was played physically. Ballina won the physical battle. But in saying that too, Evans Head, I think, for the first 35, 40 odd minutes, they were competitive. But Ballina, mate, they just dominated it. Like the penalty count was ebbing and flowing. I think there was times where I don't know about you, but I think there was times where I thought the game was going to get out of control. Thankfully, the match officials had control of the game as much as they possibly could. 2 send-offs in the game. One from Ballina. The Ballina captain had a 10-minute stint in the bin.
Had a little stint, Coleman.
And he was then followed later in the game by the Evans Head number 9 in Tooley.
Inside 10 penalty, not a quick one.
And I think Tooley
on the line here. No.
upset the officials in the game. He asked way too many questions of the referee. And for his questioning, he actually got 10 minutes in to think about the questions he was asking. So, good win to Ballina. Back-to-back wins. That, I think, takes him to second in the competition. Makes the top 8 very interesting, or the top 6 very interesting.
Yet to see young Michael Roberts.
He hasn't turned it on. So, I mean, it's
be interesting to see he's back after the season. I think if he turns it on, I think they could trouble a lot of sides.
I honestly think the impact of the losses that Evans have had is going to probably pay a bit of a toll. They've got to be there or thereabouts, but there is a danger period, and the danger period is the next 4 to 6 weeks.
It's going to be interesting to see how these two teams play out this weekend after these very physical games.
Double catch-up games, a Thursday game and a Tuesday night game.
Both teams will
and they're going into this weekend's game on Sunday. So, it'll be an interesting backup phase, and we see how much of a toll it will take on.
I thought young Kel Sheether was good in this game.
He was really good. He was really good, mate. I'm pretty sure that was Clarkey scoring there, and well deserved try. He worked really hard too that game, mate. So they've got a good forward pack. They've got some good balance back in their team.
Is that Jess Perry there as well?
Yeah, just came off the bench.
There he is.
He's freshly. He came. How's this? He got married on Saturday, played on Tuesday. So well done to Jesse Perry. No doubt, he's got to go back now to marriage duties after the game, and then he'll be back out again this weekend, strapping the boots on again and going hard.
Congrats to Ballina on that 38-18 win there over Evans Head.
Yeah, well done to Ballina, and they move along in the competition. And as I said, the big thing for Ballina is I think it puts them second in the competition now.
Second in the competition?
Pretty sure it does. It looks like you're going to get on to
we're going to get
some of the other games.
Is it round 10?
Round 10. It is round 10 this week of the NRRRL.
So we'll move into round 10's games. And Benji, the team I say first is the home team, all right?
So if you say, whichever team you say first is obviously the home side.
Yes.
I won't ask you any questions of where is it at then.
Okay.
That's all
Mate, good. Lower Clarence versus Tweed Coast Raiders, Sunday.
At Lower?
At Lower.
I just thought I'd get that one in. So are we tipping in this as well?
We are. Well, let's tip. I've stopped scoring because I'm a mile ahead.
No, you're not anyway. We'll catch up.
I'm going to go lower this week.
I'm going Tweed Coast.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going lower.
At Lower?
At Lower.
Tweed Coast.
Yeah. Northern versus Mullum. Goffy?
I don't tip this one.
Northern.
It'll be a tough game, though, I can tell you that, because Mullum play 80 minutes.
Mullum are thereabouts, aren't they?
They are, and they're pushing to stay in. They're going to be pushing for the top 6. So this will be a very good game, and there's going to be some interest. There's some interesting ins and outs in both clubs.
Ballina versus Balambal. Be interesting to see how Ballina pull up.
In Ballina, I'm saying Balambal.
I'm going Balambal in a tight one.
Yeah.
Mawullumbar versus Tweed Seagulls.
Hang on. Can we just go back?
Yeah, go back.
Well, who did you tip?
Balambal.
Did everyone in Ballina just hear that? In the history of this podcast, never ever happened before, and I mean it, in 2 years of this podcast, the Foxmeister, the big Fox, the big man, has tipped against
the Seagulls, Ballina Seagulls.
Well, there you go. And I'd never thought I'd hear it, ever, and it's happened now. That is a first for the podcast. The Fox is tipping.
I just think they're going to be a bit tired. I think Balambal will get them. Too many games in the last few games.
There you go. Barnesy, you want motivation, you just got it.
Evans Head versus Casino, Saturday game.
Mate, that is going to be close.
It's going to be a cracker.
And at Evans Head, and I'm actually going to
I'm going Casino.
Well, I'm actually going to go Casino as well. But Evans, they might be tired, but I'm telling you, they're desperate. They're desperately tired. So they need to win. So they're going to be hungry at home. But I'm with you. I'm going to jump on the Casino bandwagon.
Byron Bay versus Marsh Brothers.
Byron Bay are leading the competition quite extensively. Brothers, I think, are sitting 5th or 6th. I'm going to say it's going to be a good game. I'm going to say it's going to be a close game. But I'm tipping Byron at Byron.
I'm going Byron by 20.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be close at all.
Okay. Well,
Coogin versus Kyogle.
Coogin versus Kyogle. I am definitely saying the Hornets.
I'm going Coogin as well.
At Coogin,
Yeah.
obviously. Because that's the first team you read out. There you go, guys. Oh, jeez. There you go.
Mate,
Fox.
let's have a quick look at the ladder, eh?
Yeah, can we look at the ladder? Is that the live ladder?
Well, I don't know.
Because I
hope
don't know.
it's been
Let's have. We'll have a look at the ladder for the way it stands now. I don't know if the adjustments have been made. I haven't had a look for God knows how long.
I haven't had a look either, so let's just have a look and see what they got. What round are we on?
10.
Round.
Just go to the
10.
ladder. It's live,
Is there
mate.
another?
Yeah, that's why it's called a live ladder.
Oh, okay, mate. We've got Byron. This is from what's on the internet, so I don't know if it's been updated. We've got Byron on 13 points.
Yep.
Belamble on 12.
Yep.
With Ballina.
Yeah, that's correct.
Coogin and Bob. Coogin has snuck up into fourth with equal with Bombers on 10.
On 10, yep.
Marsh Brothers on 9.
In 5th
In
or 6th?
6th. Northern is equal with them on 7. Sorry.
No.
No, Northern's a point behind on 8. And then Casino are on 7 points.
So the top 6 are Brothers, Bombers, Coogin, Ballina on for and against, and obviously the back end of that is obviously the leading of the competition, which is Byron Bay and Coogin.
We'll give a quick update on the ladder for the lower grades. As it currently stands, the top 6 is Ballina on top on 13 points in reserve grade. Tweed Seagulls on 12 with Byron Bay. Belamble on 11 points. And Marsh Brothers on 10. Mawullumbar on 9 points. That's the top 6 in reserve grade.
Reserve grade. Yep. Where you going? You might as well go through the other grades while we're here, because everyone likes to know what's happening in the lower grades.
Under 18s, Belamble Jets are on top with Tweed Coast Raiders on 12 points. Third and fourth and fifth spot on 10 points is Byron Bay, Mawullumbar, Lower Clarence. And then 6th and 7th is Tweed Seagulls and Ballina, rounding out top 7. So that's under 18s.
Got ladies.
Women's tackle.
Women's tackle. Let's do women's tackle. I love the women's tackle competition.
So far, we've got Northern on top on 6 points, Belamble on 4, Evans Head on 2, and Casino yet to get off the board.
The mighty Durawong women. Hey, there you go. They've got a good coach over here too.
I'll give the Ladies League tag a quick go. On top, we've got Tweed Seagulls on 14, Marsh Brothers 2nd, Lower 3rd, Tweed Coast 4th, Coogin 5th, and Mawullumbar in 6th spot.
There you
That's
go.
it. That's the ladder currently as it stands.
Thanks, mate. It was a pretty extensive wrap, even though we thought we weren't going to be coming back this week and talking too much about it. But
We've got to give the lower grades a wrap too.
oh yeah, we have to, mate, because I think that's what, mate. We've got a lot of our podcast fans that are got kids playing in the 18s. We've got a lot of podcast fans that have got partners that are playing Reggies. And we've got right across the whole competition. So I think it's good to give all the other grades a plug, and I think it keeps everyone interested. Particularly coming into this back end of our season. Even though it's been a disruptive front end, the back end of our season, obviously, is where the interest really starts to heat up, and I think the competition is really starting to heat up in that space. So, thanks a lot for that, Foxy.
No worries, mate.
Very good. We're going to jump straight in now to our next segment, and we'll give that a bit of a wrap, which is, I love this segment. This is my segment. It's Controversy Corner.
Another opener.
Here it comes.
How is that? We're getting flash,
Yeah, mate,
aren't
we're
we?
getting flash, mate. I'll tell you what, it's happening. It's all happening here at the Gingy and Foxy and Triple RL Wrap.
Get us to Vegas.
There you go. Get us there. We'll get to them. Look, mate, this is going to be a pretty hot topic tonight. I've got a couple of, I suppose, issues to discuss in Controversy Corner that I know one of the issues you probably think that you sort of tipped me into, and I think we really need to talk about it tonight. But the first issue that I want to talk about, mate, I've been at some games where some things have occurred with match officials. So the controversy I suppose, that I want to talk about is abuse towards match officials, whether that's sideline, officials, which are, our touchies, right through to our middlemen that are our referees of the game. And I'm not just talking about, abuse from people in the crowd. They're used to that. It's a bit of banter. There's a difference between banter and crossing the line. And I think for me, the reason I'm raising this, and people are probably going, come on, Benji, what are you doing? But the reality is I've watched a few things happen at a few of the games that we've been at. Me and you have spoken about it. I've now seen things happen through watching the live streams of games in the competition, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's needed or warranted, for that matter.
Definitely not in the spirit of it.
And I really think it's time that the clubs really do something about it. I think it's time that the NRRRL make a stand on it before it gets out of hand and something seriously happens. And the other thing is, we need to show our match officials, if we want these young kids coming through as match officials, as referees in our game, as controlling bodies in our game, we need to give them all the support we can, because we know it's a tough job. It's a thankless job. There's no great money in it, and we've got the best. I think we've got the best crop of young blokes coming through and young ladies coming through. And if we can't protect them and we can't look after them, then we won't have them. And if we don't have them, what don't we have after that?
No game.
We don't have a game.
No.
So I'm going to go straight to it. Tuesday night, I watched the game on Bar TV. The game got pulled up, and it was down at Evans Head. The game got pulled up. I think it was halfway through the second half. Now, I could clearly hear things that were being said in the background of a match official that was actually running a line. He was being spoken to in a way that I don't think was great. He made the middle referee pull the game up. They called over the ground officials, and the game could not go any further until people were removed from the game. In that, the match officials also asked the ground official who the people were, could they identify who they were, and that those people had to be removed from the ground before the game could take place again. Now, yes, the people were removed, but they went to the outside of the ground. 5 to 10 minutes later, the barrage of abuse occurred. You could hear it again clearly in the background. You could hear distinctly what was being said on the footage. So these guys are geared up. Like the other thing that people need to understand too, whether they're supporters, players, or people sitting in the crowd, the referees these days are mic'd up. So if you think you're going to say something to a match official and get away with it, you're crazy. One, first and foremost, because they're wired up, everyone can hear it. Secondly, that then allows, I suppose, these match officials, if they feel threatened in any way, to take matters further. Now, I know factually that there were threats made to a match official. Those threats were directly towards the match official at the time. They were, I'm just going to say it, they were threats that were absolutely ridiculous because they actually threatened the person's life. There was fear instilled into the match official to the point where they didn't feel safe, and also that they were looking for the police to be called to the game because they couldn't feel that they could go outside of the ground post the game. Now, come on, like supporters, clubs, where are we going? Like, what are we doing here? Like, try and support these guys they're doing the best they can. They're human beings, for God's sake. Yes, they make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But we've got to try and support these guys better than what we are at the moment, because if we don't and we lose these people, I'll tell you how crazy this is, Les. We are a hair's breadth away from every official, both our young ones coming through and our senior people in the game. we were a hair's breadth away from this weekend's round being cancelled because officials did not feel safe. So I think responsibility's got to lie where it has to lie back to where it needs to lie. First and foremost with the clubs. Secondly, when you pay your money to go into a game, can all supporters please read the code of conduct that's at the front of every gate that says what you can and can't do towards players, coaches, volunteers, and match officials. New South Wales Rugby League have a clear code of conduct. And supporters. So, guys, let's stand up here and support our match officials. Let's stand with them, not in front of them, not speak on behalf for them. And if people think I'm out here now making something out of nothing, no, I'm actually. This is a blight on the game. So for me, clubs, I think we need to be able to speak to our supporter bases, whether it's on your social media sites, whether it's on your game day, officials. Can we please, and whether it's, your ground announcers, can you please start putting announcements that this behaviour will not be tolerated, that people that carry on this way will be asked to leave the ground. And I think about 3 to 4 weeks before that, Les, and you've seen this and I've seen this, we actually seen a match official who was finished his game as a league safe that went up and sat in a grandstand and carried on with a barrage of abuse and was asked to leave the ground also. Now, if the behaviour we're setting as people in the game that are involved in the game are at that level, how do we expect our supporters to behave? So my hat's off to all the match officials that are out there doing the best they can. You don't deserve it. We need to advocate better that the behaviour won't be tolerated, and we need to stick to our guns. And if people are asked to leave, please provide both the NRRRL and New South Wales Rugby League. If you know these people, give them their names and let them be dealt with, because we don't deserve those sort of people in our game, because that's not what this game's about.
The more ground official and support we have, the better too, isn't it?
Well, I'm going to go to the next point. And I know people can argue about it till the cows come home, but there is a standard of expectation by New South Wales Rugby League and the NRRRL that every game, no game can take place unless there's a ground manager. Now, that's from the host club. But I also know that the NRRRL and New South Wales Rugby League in this particular competition has asked that we have a ground manager from the host club and that we also have a ground manager from the visiting club. Now, let's just throw it out there. You've been in a position at the start of the season where you actually had to wear the vest on an away game, and we do our best, and we always say to our club, when you go to away games, let's go to the ground manager, and we also try and get someone from our club to get engaged, and we do that. Now, what's got to happen is other clubs, visiting clubs, when you turn up to a game, can you please have someone in your club assist on the day by having someone from your club be a ground manager with the host club, so that there's 2 ground managers, and that if there's any incident inside the grounds that need to be controlled, that you've got a person from your club. If someone from your club, you can control it. If it's someone from the opposition club, well, obviously the person that's there in the host club, that's their job to control. So at the moment, though, when it's down to one person, and I know down at Evans Head on the weekend it was down to one person, because we only seen one person engaged. We know that when the incident occurred over at the game that we were at, it was only one person. There was no one from the opposition club that was wearing a vest that day, even though we were asking for that. So, clubs, please, when you turn up as a visiting club to a host club's game, can you please present a ground manager, and that may alleviate some of these issues. So there you go. Mate, you were pretty quiet throughout that whole...
Mate, you had that.
I was fired up.
You had it covered.
I was fired up. Yeah, so... Mate, look, I'm pretty passionate about that, because we don't want that sort of stuff creeping into our games, mate. We've got kids, mate, families.
If we don't have match officials, we don't have a game, so...
I'll tell you what, I'll be honest with you, and I'll go one step further. As a parent and as a grandparent, there's no way I'm taking my grandkids to a game to watch some idiot that's on the piss, behaving like an absolute drop kick. Don't get me wrong. Probably the last thing I want to say on this is, every club that serves alcohol, please make sure you've got people at your bar that have RSAs, because I can guarantee you alcohol is the best ingredient for these idiots to behave the way they do. So, if you're going to, you've all got a responsible service of alcohol. When someone's intoxicated, stop bloody serving them. And that way we won't get the carry on that we had, at the game down there on Tuesday night, and we won't get it at the games that we have moving forward.
That's it. That's your
and I'm all out of breath now, but I'm you know what, Les? I'm worked up.
That's your controversy corner.
That is. Yours. I'm worked up. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope, and listen, if there's anyone out there that agrees with me, just hit us up on the, and this is what we want our viewing audience to start to. You've got our Mark at markgolfmedia.com.
Hey,
first time. So it's Mark at markgolfmedia.com.
Beautiful.
Hit us up. Tell us what you think. If you got any controversial things that you think need to be raised, or if you agree with what I've said, or if you don't agree with what I said, let us know about it. We'll make it. We'll put that out there in next week's podcast on Wednesday night. So, hit us up. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Tell us about your controversy. Tell us about anything you want, and we'll bring it up on the podcast. Yep. There you go, and that's me, and that's Controversy Corner.
So
done.
Everyone get out there and enjoy the footy on the weekend, and get behind your team, and get behind the match officials as well. Yep. They do a great job.
And
well said, mate.
Thank you, mate. And I'm glad you're supportive of that. Yeah. Okay. Now we're up to the. I love this segment.
I never have any of
this. This is one of my favourite segments of our podcast. It's actually
called
the
Whatevs.
Whatevs. There you go. Okay, here we are. We're back with the Whatevs. The Whatevs for the NRRRL wrap for tonight, Leslie. And I'm going to go to you straight away. What's one of your... This is one of your... I know, and I've just seen what you've written down. I know what you're going to talk to. But what's your Whatev?
You know what my Whatev is, mate. The canteens. The canteens.
The big Foxy and his canteens.
Did you get to the canteen at the Ballina game?
Well, mate, I actually didn't.
You did it?
No, I didn't.
I got there.
And?
No healthy options for the Fox.
No, we know what we're looking for. We're looking for the healthy options. How many games have you been to this year?
Chicken and salad roll, ham and salad roll. I've been to about 3.
And can I ask, has there been any?
There has.
Okay.
Northern has had the ham and salad roll.
Oh, have they?
Yep.
There you go. So you went to Ballina, tested it, taste tested?
Taste tested.
Even though there was no healthy option, you still taste tested.
Yeah, it was still good feed. They had a barbecue with like rissoles and stuff like that. It was still good. I was just looking for that, that
little healthy option.
Yeah.
So there you go, canteen, ladies and gentlemen. The Whatevs moment for the Big Fox is in the next. What are we in the next 8 weeks of the competition? The Foxy is going to be testing your canteens, and it's a Whatevs moment, and he will feed back, not bring a feedback, but he will feed back what your canteen is like in every game he goes away to.
Yep.
Okay, because I do know now that you've wrapped the Northern canteen every time you've had a home game, and I don't get a chance like you do to eat at games because I'm obviously a busy person. But Les is our taste tester, and I will try my best to have a look at the next few canteens when I'm away over the coming weeks, and see if I can have my input into that space as well. But so that's your Whatevs moment.
That's my Whatevs.
So there you go.
So I'm coming for your canteen.
He's coming. So there you go. The Whatevs moment for this podcast is look out, canteen people, because Les is coming for your canteen. Okay, my Whatevs moment.
What's your Whatevs moment?
My Whatevs moment. Well, I'm going to go back to the Origin.
Oh.
And I know you were pretty upset and you were devastated. And the last time we had our podcast was actually on an Origin night, Wednesday.
It was before Wednesday.
It was just before, and we had the New South Wales men, and you said you didn't really care because all your hopes were with the women's team.
And we lost.
Can I just ask what happened?
We got ripped off.
Hang on. I watched that game, mate. I don't know. So listen, guys. Just so you know, my whatevs moment for this podcast was the Big Fox's call that he didn't really care about the result for the New South Wales men because he knew that there was a guaranteed result with the women. And as we all know, and for those people that don't, I actually want Les to tell you exactly what happened and what was the scoreline.
Well, I did secret calls to the New South Wales women's side, and I said, look, let's just make it interesting and take it to a decider.
The first year of a 3-match series.
Yeah.
Anyway, my view of that game was very, very different, and the reason why it was very different was because I'll be honest. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Right up until the last 2 minutes, and I'll tell you what I did. I turned my phone off.
Yeah, because you were waiting.
Because I was waiting for you to message me and saying, "What did I tell you?" And then I turned my phone back on post the game, and you still never text me. But I did the right thing. I didn't put enough, didn't stick the boot in. But I just want to say, what a game!
It was a great.
What a game!
It was a great game,
mate. It was Origin to a T. And look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that because I'm a Queenslander, but I'm saying it because of this.
It was typical Queensland.
Yes, but by the women.
Even when they're down and out, not expected to win, they win.
New South Wales dominated. It's 35 minutes each way. So New South Wales dominated 68 minutes of that game. And then Queensland went bang, bang, here we are, and did one of their famous come-from-behind victories. And that will go. That's definitely going to go down in the Queensland women history.
I think the wet track helped them.
Well, look, regardless, can I just say something?
We'll get you on the dry track.
Yeah, but my comment to this is, wet, dry, or otherwise, everyone plays on the same track.
Yeah.
There's no excuses, mate.
There's no excuses.
But I'll tell you what. What's the front row? Millie Elliott.
Yep.
Was she in tears? Post that game?
I don't know.
Yeah, mate, she was.
Well, they interviewed
Millie Elliott.
No, was it? Jess Surges.
Yeah, she was in tears as well. Yeah, mate. So
it was a tough one to take.
But what I'm saying is, don't you love the passion?
Field goal.
No, but I'm saying, don't you love the passion?
But how good was the field goal?
Well, mate,
in the wet.
Do you know what? When she did it, I was waiting for the ball just to hit the flat.
Yeah, and just stay there.
And I reckon she found the only dry patch on the whole of Newcastle.
It was a brilliant
and it bounced, because up until that point, did you see all the other kicks?
Yeah.
They hit and stuck.
Yeah.
That bounced. She connected over the black dot, and see you later.
The Queensland greats were looking down.
Mate, I'll tell you, and again, I just want to come back to this one point. How good is the women's game?
It is so good. I love watching the Women's Origin. I love watching the NRLW.
Mate, apart from watching that game, I just thought, and I'll go back to this again, Millie Elliott,
it was
Surges.
better than the men's, wasn't it?
Sorry?
It was better than the men's game.
Well, I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to say it was better. I'm just going to say that the men's game, there was something that got sucked out of that game. And if you're a Queensland supporter like I am, look, I had a debate. I'm in a group chat, and then the group chat got a little bit heated, and I'll tell you something, to the point where I could see the passion in the group chat, to the point where things have been said in the group chat, and I pulled it out. I'm not going to go anymore. I think someone's called me an idiot. But anyway, I've been called worse.
I get real passionate.
I've been called
New
worse.
South Wales, I blow up. I hate when Queensland win all the time. I'm getting over it. Come on, Blues.
Yeah, well, mate,
Blues, bring it
I'm
back.
saying, in saying all that, mate, look, I think we're in for one hell of a game in Melbourne.
Both. And Townsville.
And I'm just disappointed that I'm not going to Melbourne to watch State of Origin 2. I'm disappointed that I can't get tickets for State of Origin 3 because it's already sold out, even though no one knows whether it's going to be a decider or not. I'm hoping it goes to a decider. The sad fact of the matter is I don't think it will.
While we're on Origin, do you think they make changes, New South Wales?
Well, I think they do. I think they do. I think you're going to see Moses at half. I don't think Nico showed up last night again. I think you're going to see, and I know a lot of people will probably. I actually don't think, and this probably is going to swipe everybody. I know everyone's saying, well, Latrell's but Latrell's a must and is a definite, I'm going to say that Madge ain't going to pick him.
Are you saying Madge isn't going to pick him, or you wouldn't pick him as well?
No, I'm saying Madge isn't. I'm hoping Madge doesn't, because I'm scared if they do.
His game last week was...
Yeah, well... Antonio who the... Antonio
Staggs.
Golfy, Jesus. So, look, Staggs, mate, I'm actually...
I'll tell you what, I watched the interview and...
There's three players in contention. Jesse Ramian, Katoni Staggs, and Latrell Mitchell. I'm hoping they pick one of the other two, because Latrell scares me.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's funny
as a Queenslander.
I watched the interview where I think Will Chambers was on Matty John's show, I think it might have been.
Last week.
And they were talking about the Latrell thing, and Will Chambers goes, it's just one person he's always...
Every Queenslander is saying don't pick him.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% we are. But, no one knows what Madge is going to do. The side could already be picked. I mean, I'm hearing, there's stupid things saying, oh, well, he's going to make a decision post this weekend. Madge is already, if he hasn't made a decision already, he's crazy.
Do you think Cameron Murray comes straight back in?
No.
You think they stick with McGuinness and...
I think he's going to stick. I think he's going to stick with McGuinness. The only thing I think he'll do though, he'll probably rethink his first drink and he'll probably start Isaiah Yeo. I think he mate. To be totally honest, I don't know what Madge was thinking. I would have started Yeo in the first place, but he didn't. And again, as a Queenslander, thank you, Madge.
I think his bench changes. Too many back rows on the bench.
Well, that was a bit of a worry at the start, and I think I said that to you before the Origin even started. I said, if I was a New South Wales person, I'd be saying, why did he pick so many back rows?
Spencer Liniu was good.
Yeah, he was really good, mate. He was really good.
I think you add another front rower. I think you add Cameron Murray, and I think you add another hooker, is my thing.
Yeah, well, mate, I don't know why he didn't go with Appy. I think Appy off the bench would be phenomenal.
I think Appy anywhere.
No, I think he's off. I think if I'm picking Appy in my New South Wales team, I'm starting him off the bench and coming on an impact. The same. I think you guys need to pick a bench that's impactful, not just passive. They picked a passive bench, and I don't think that worked for him. And look, I think between you and me, I think Madge has got a lot to think about, and I think the biggest thing that he's got to come to terms with is whether he's picking Latrell or not, and don't wait till this weekend. If you're picking him, pick him. If you're not, you're not. So just, Anyway.
Queensland, any changes?
No way.
No changes? Is there any injuries?
No, we're good. Yeah. What about the hammer last night? What about the hammer? Would you change? Think about it, mate.
Oh, I just thought there was injuries for some reason. I thought somebody was injured.
Reece Walsh.
Oh, he's back though next
He'll be
week.
back by Origin. Yeah. And I guarantee you watch what he does in game 2. I heard a vicious little rumour saying, he'll be a little bit tentative. He could be gun shy. No, mate, he knows what mate play the game. So, look, I think it's going to be an interesting.
We'll cover Origin more next week.
We'll know better next Wednesday because we're going to know the team.
We'll know the teams.
And then I'll take you apart again. So it's all good.
Yeah.
So I've got one other whatever's moment for me. So obviously tonight I just want to. I'm atoning some gear tonight. I've got the platinum up here, and I've got the platinum over here on the chest, platinum on the heart, shoulders, carrying it. So I just want to give a plug out. So I've got a new role now on the Northern Rivers and in Queensland. This is a real job too, by the way, Leslie. So just so you know, it's not just a little make-believe job. So I've actually taken on a player development management role with Platinum Sport. It's obviously a management company that I have a whole lot of belief in. I think the way that Platinum is going to sort of hit the ground and people are going to start to see some really good things from the Platinum Group moving forward. We've got some wonderful people that are engaged. The founder of Platinum Sport, Jeff Smith, based down in Sydney, and the team that we've got down there are doing wonderful things with a huge group of our young and up-and-coming players into the future in the NRL. We've got players in pretty much every grade from Jersey Flag, Harold Matts, right up in through to New South Wales Cup, Jim Beam Cup, Queensland Cup, lower grades in the Queensland and the DB Cup right through as well. So my role is I've just taken on the Queensland Northern Rivers and Queensland role now. So I'll be covering from here right up to...
Can you look at the knockout?
Yeah, we are. Well, mate, this is why I'm saying it. You will see a huge platinum force at this year's Aboriginal Rugby League knockout out at Bathurst. I know there's been a lot of conjecture about player managers and talent scouts, and that's what my role at the moment is, talent scouting, and also looking at player development and working with players that have an opportunity to move forward. Mate, I'm working with, I believe, the new phase of sports management. And down the track, and as you know, I'm into coaching and all that sort of stuff, but I did say to you I've got to look at life post-coaching, and life post-coaching for me is jumping into this space. And I can tell you right now, the philosophies of how Platinum work, particularly with Indigenous and non-Indigenous players, but also, the way they look at young players and player development, and the way they work with not just the player, they work with the whole family. They want to know who these kids are. They want to know who their family is. They want to know their backgrounds, where they're from. They've hugely invested in the women's game, which is absolutely brilliant. They've got, I think, Platinum have got the best crop of young women coming through that I've seen in any player management group. But I like the way they don't just use their players as numbers. They don't just engage with these young blokes and young ladies for the sake of signing them up. They really invest in their off-field, their education, their employment, the way they actually start to develop their kids. They get them into their gym programs. Mate, what's the guy that done the sprint coach down in Sydney? I think it's Fabrice. The sprint coach that all the top people go to, but they're engaged with those guys. They get these kids on health-based programs. They get them on extended programs with their well-being as well. And then outside of that, they also work with them, and this is the key and the crucial bit. They also work with them about life after footy. Even around,
not too many people do that.
Yeah, and not too many people do it. So, mate, I am so proud to be a part of the Platinum Group. I don't care what anyone thinks, sees, or believes, but I'm a massive, part of that whole Platinum, ethos and where they're heading into the future. We've got a great group of people, mate. Geordie Peets, remember Geordie Peets? Geordie, mate, how can you not? Geordie, South Sydney hooker, played up the Gold Coast, Origin, mate, done it all. He's up in Queensland now and working up there for Platinum as well. You've got Zane Hammond up there working in the Queensland group. You've got Russell Ty up there as well. People out in would know those names. Down in Sydney, we've got some great people down in Sydney as well that are working with us as well. So look, it's the new wave, mate, and I'm a part of that, and I'm so proud to be a part of that. So giving a big plug out to Jeff Smith and the group. So well done to the guys at Platinum, and we'll be moving forward with you guys definitely, and we'll be getting you the best crop of players, both women and young men in the future, and we'll see them grow and we'll see them play NRL.
Coffee and I'll be waiting for our gear.
Okay, there you go, Jeff. We want the Golfmeister and the big Foxy here wants the Platinum get up. Mate, I'll tell you what, talking about rugby league, guys, this bloke knows his footy too, don't worry about that. So he knows how to spot a good talent when he sees it.
I like my gear too.
It keeps going on about the gear. They're a bit jealous about the gear, the Platinum gear. It is nice and warm, particularly in the cold.
It looks warm.
Mate, and it's good. So I'm happily and proudly representing the Platinum Sports Group tonight. So
good on you. Good stuff.
Good plug for the Platinum Group. So that's my whatevs. Unless you got anything else.
No, that was beautiful, mate. Hopefully we see a lot of our young talent.
Yeah, mate. Well, I'll tell you what, we're on some of the local Indigenous talent and non-Indigenous talent in our area. I can tell you that.
Beautiful. Whatevs?
There you go. That's my whatevs. If there's anything else from me, Goff, you got any whatevs for us, brother?
Mate, I'm just going to jump in to give people an update
on
our gear.
Yeah, there you go.
All right,
jump in there,
mate, get in because it is flying out the door. And, Benji, how much are our shirts?
Our shirts. The Gingy and Foxy NRRRL Rap podcast shirts gone, $35.
For a pink shirt?
For a pink shirt, yeah. And the pink shirts, man, I'll tell you, they stand out.
Look, I don't mind pink.
Ladies, jump on board. Any ladies, if you love our podcast, I've seen people wearing our podcast shirts around the last week or so it's been great.
Shout out to Tony
I'll
Buchanan.
take it down even further, and we can all see the podcast shirts, the Gingy and Foxy and NRRRL Rap podcast shirts.
Beautiful.
Get them while you can.
Nice modelling, Bidgy. You need a pink one to model next
Well, we'll get that next week.
Black shirts, $30.
Black shirts are $30. The pink shirts $35. Why? Because the pink shirts are just beautiful.
Stubby holders. Black stubby holders, $10.
$10 for a stubby holder. $10. Couldn't
Green
get a better
stubby
deal.
holders, $12.
Sorry?
Green stubby holders,
Green
$12.
stubby holders. Yeah. Oh, mate, those green stubby holders.
Mate, they're running hot.
They're running hot.
The green are running
Yeah.
hot.
I can't have a beer until August, but I'll tell you what, the first beer I do have will be my green stubby holder.
Mate, mine are already gone. Everyone loves them. They're gone.
Well,
Buy your own. I need mine back.
I've got one sitting in my cupboard that no one's allowed to touch. So, seriously.
Coffee mugs, mate.
Yeah, well,
Bargain
mate,
price for a coffee mug with the Gingy and Foxy faces
I've got
on
2
it.
coffee mugs, and they are the most used coffee mugs in my house. But mine's just got the Gingy, and no one's allowed to touch it.
Beautiful. $12.50.
$12.50
Bargain.
for the coffee mugs, eh? There you go. And
Now-
what about this one?
What about this one? Everyone who works with computers, got an office, even if you don't, just put it in your house. Mouse pads,
That's the mouse pads.
$12.50.
$12.50 for a mouse pad.
That's
We can't
it.
give you a mouse to go with it because there's only one mouse that we
No.
know, and that's the guy that's behind the screen.
Yeah.
So he's already taken. So, but our mouse pads, beautiful mouse pads too, by the way.
But get yourself some merch, wear it around, wear it to the end of NRRRL games.
You can get the
Get it
merch.
out there.
We can get the merch. Please, you can make your payments for the merch to the Summerland Bank. The BSB number, we'll actually post that out on the podcast. You'll see that in the account details. But you can also, if you want that merch, you can also go into Mark at.
markgoffmedia.com.
So
send him an
anyone that wants
email.
merch, and as we said, there it is.
Don't message Benji and I because we're hopeless.
Yeah.
Send an email to mark at
And
markgoffmedia.com.
we're going to get that out there. You'll see that on our Facebook sites, and the merch will be advertised on that tonight when it's up and running as well. So we've got some shout-outs now and some special announcements. We're going to go to the shout-outs. We haven't got one, so we're just going to roll straight into that. This is our last segment, Les. So we've got some special announcements to make tonight of a couple of players.
I want to give a shout out first to one of our podcast fans. He loves the podcast. He watches it every week, and it's Tony Buchanan.
Oh, he's
Shout
one of
out
our
to Tony
avid
Buchanan.
podcasts. Yeah, there you
Mate,
go.
he's got his shirt, his stubby holder, he's got his mouse pad.
Mate, he's good.
Everyone, get it like Tony Buchanan.
He's
go and get your
podcasted
stuff.
up, mate, to the hilt. And we've got some big announcements to make. For some special people.
You've saved the best for last.
I've saved the best
haven't
for
you?
last. So big shout out to John Jarrett.
Johnny Jarrett.
John Jarrett, Northern United Rugby League Football Club, first player in the history of the club since its inception in 2009, makes he's going to run out this weekend for his 100th first grade. This isn't any grade, but 100th first grade game for the Northern United Rugby League Football Club v Mullumbimby this Sunday, Crozier Oval. It is the John Jarrett Day.
John Jarrett Day. Everyone get out there.
Get out there.
Let's
Support.
pack it out.
Yep, and mate,
Have you got a John Jarrett shirt made up for me and you?
mate, we've got that. There'll be banners, there'll be streamers, there'll be kids running around with John Jarrett written across their chest. I mean, mate, if it wasn't so cold, I'd take my shirt off and put John Jarrett on my back. That's how big a day it's going to be. But mate,
That's massive.
mate, I'll tell you how massive it is. This club's been in existence since 2009. I don't know if there's going to be another player that's going to come after him. There probably will be.
I think Jamal Roberts.
Jamal
might be
Roberts will be
close.
pushing pretty close, but I'll tell you what, he's probably about 20 or 30 games away from it.
Can you get our stats man on?
Oh, well, we'll get our stats man onto that. But John
Who's
Jarrett,
the stats man?
John Jarrett, he's our stats man. That's how come we know that John Jarrett
Look,
is
And
officially.
that's his 100 games with the Dirrawongs. John's played many more.
He's played many more first grade games, but that's his 100th game. It's
For
his
the
100th
Dirrawongs.
game with the Dirrawongs, and you're so right.
Good
But
achievement.
there's another shout out here, and I want to make sure we don't forget it. There's another player this weekend making his 100th appearance for the Balamble Jets, and his name is Tom Rolls. Rollsy. is making his 100th
Another 100th
appearance
All these 100th games are just flying
for the
in now,
Blamble
aren't
Jets. So, Rolsey, I hope
Congrats, bud.
that Blamble will do exactly the same thing that Northern are doing, and we're going to. So we've actually just changed it. It's not the Northern v Mullumbimby game. It's the John Jarrett Day for us, and we hope that the Blamble Jets will have the Tom Rolls Day on Sunday when you play, and make it a day that you'll remember, brother. So all the supporters of every club, get out and support these people, because I'll tell you what, anyone that can play 100 games, I can guarantee you this, are old. But
100 games for one club too.
Is massive in this competition. But again, it's a special mention to John Jarrett. I've got to say that. We do know that the Blamble Jets have been around for a very long time. But John Jarrett, mate, with his 100 games for the Northern United Rugby League Footy Club going into this weekend, considering that 2009 was the first time that the competition had ever seen the Northern United Footy Club, and that's a massive achievement. So, I have no doubt, mate, we'll have a big tunnel for him to run out through. We'll have streamers. He's going to run out through. Well, imagine him running out if he had to run it. He's got to run out through a banner, and if he gets caught up in the banner, that's going to be hilarious. But that's what's going to happen. It's the John Jarrett Day. So that's my shout out for both John Jarrett and up there in Blamble, Tom Rolls. Going over you, brother.
Good work. Good work to both them guys. 100 games. We've kicked on from the Dan Ross 100 games. We've got another 2 here happening. Bring it on.
Yeah, it's going to be a big weekend of footy too, by the way. So we already know what's coming up in the games this weekend. Mate, I've got no other shout-outs going in.
I think that's us.
That's us. Because you know why I want to leave here? Why? I want to go and watch the Broncos, mate.
Mate, I'm tipping the Bunnies tonight.
So there you go. Bunnies v Broncos. I'm on the Bronx. You're on the Bunnies. And I'm just one message tonight. If you're watching out there, no doubt Madge will be watching the game tonight. Don't pick Latrell.
Pick him.
Don't pick Latrell.
That, my friend,
is
let everyone know
a wrap.